Yeah, all this is being recorded now. Yeah, all of this is being put on tape now.
And put in an archive.
That's right. Yeah, so what we'll do is that when we get the tape from the end of the day, I'll cut this out. And then we'll have the show, but we'll also have about 8 or 10 minutes of us doing nothing but being on television. Yeah, God is good. Contemporary Black Lives Matter movement.
That's right.
Yes,
That's right. That's right.
10 seconds.
Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the contemporary Black Lives Matter movement. And we're fortunate to have with us to talk about the contemporary Black Lives Matter movement, Dr. LBaldwin. Dr. Baldwin has been with us on a number of occasions, and I'm almost certain that he needs absolutely no introduction to our audience, Dr. Baldwin. I think that, as we've said on many occasions, you've been with us almost since the very, very beginning.
That's right.
And we certainly can appreciate what you've already given to us. But we're also looking forward to what you have to give today, and especially when we talk about the Black Lives Movement. And before we get into what you have called, Dr. Baldwin, the contemporary Black Lives Matter movement, let's talk about LBaldwin, to have you to give us some information about your background, your education, and some of your experiences. And then by the beginning of the second segment, then we'll have an opportunity to get into an introduction to the so-called Black Lives Matter movement. Let's do it from that perspective.
Well, I'm a native of Camden, Alabama. I grew up there in Wilcox County, Alabama, which was called at that time the Alabama Black Belt. I attended schools in Wilcox County. I graduated from Camden Academy High School in 1967. And from that point, I matriculated at Talladega College in Talladega, Alabama, majored in history. 1971, I graduated with a BA degree in history. And from that point to Crozer Theological Seminary in Rochester, New York, where I received the MA and MDiv degrees. From that point, of course, to Northwestern University, where I received the PhD degree in 1980 in American Christianity. And from that point, of course, I've been involved in scholarship and teaching. I taught at Worcester College in Ohio, Colgate University in New York, and for 30 years, I taught at Vanderbilt University here in Nashville. And
so, and also known, Dr. Baldwin, I must say, as one of the most important individuals dealing with the scholarship of Dr. Martin Luther King. Even though today we're not going to talk specifically about Dr. Martin Luther King, we're going to talk about a movement that I didn't know that much about personally before we talked about it.
That was inspired by.
That was in a real sense inspired by Dr. Martin Luther King.
Exactly.
Let's see if we can, Dr. Baldwin, during this first few minutes during this segment, to have you to give us some understanding of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Well, the Black Lives Matter movement actually started in 2013 after the acquittal of George Zimmerman for the murder of Trayvon Martin. 3 black women, Alicia Garza, Patrice Cullors, and Oprah Tometi, decided that they would get together and start a movement that would deal with the intentional and systematic killing of young black men. And they said, well, hey, this is about black lives. So what we want to do is to go on social media and to sort of promote this idea that black men are being systematically and intentionally killed, not only by vigilantes, but also by police. So the movement started in 2013 after the acquittal of George Zimmerman. It blossomed in 2014 with the killing of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. And since that time, of course, the movement has continued with the killing of Eric Garner, with the killing of Walter Scott in South Carolina, with the killing of Freddie Gray in Baltimore. So the Black Lives Matter movement is not only a slogan, it started out as a slogan. Some might say that it was a rallying cry, that it was a social media hashtag, but now it has become a movement with chapters in 23 chapters in the United States, Canada, and Ghana. And of course, since 2013, there have been more than 700 demonstrations in connection with that movement.
But you also, Dr. Baldwin, I think, can trace that movement, as I think you explained to me, way back into the civil rights movement, to the early parts of the civil rights movement. And so although it only started in 2013 in terms of being what you consider to be the contemporary Black Lives Matter movement, but you can also, it also has a history that started long before this. And
I think Black Lives Matter has always been a theme in the Black freedom struggle. If you go back to the antebellum period with Frederick Douglass and Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman, they were all echoing this theme.
Okay, Dr. Baldwin, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll take this first commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll pick up on the history of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Okay.
And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. We're still dealing.
And then the last, where are we going from here?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so would you, do you want to do some history about it? Because I think you were talking about...
Yeah, we want to go into the historical background of it.
Well, let's give about we've got to have about 8 minutes.
Better to talk about that.
Yeah, and then that last 10 minutes we can get into whatever else you wish to deal with.
Sounds great to me, yeah. Yeah. This is fun.
Yeah, it's all laid out here. And see, this is some important pieces of tape that we're getting right here. Not only does it deal with the subject here.
Yeah, how do you put it in a larger context?
In a context, yeah, that's right.
Because I don't think a lot of people do that. Yeah, a lot of people do that.
Yeah, so we're getting ready for the second segment. It goes like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It goes just like that. And this is one of 5, my first of 5 today.
Yeah.
So we got to hear about